A couple videos ago, I finished the Smoke Silver 300 CE AMG, and since then the car has sold on the MB market, and I am currently fixing a few things in addition to what I did. The buyer of the car wanted me to tackle a few other things, so I'm gonna go ahead and do those things. I'll show you guys what I'm working with. The blower motor that was in op, I've taken apart the whole cowl assembly, wiper assembly, and I am going to be replacing that with a Barrett unit. I'm also going to be doing a few things with the cooling system and whatnot. So let me show you what we're working with. So here I have laid out all the parts that I've taken apart to get to the blower motor. It's by no means an easy job, and there's a lot of hidden screws, etc. So you start by removing the windshield cowl trims, those two pieces there, and then there are bolts underneath there, 10mm bolts going along the front of the car there, and then you can remove, well, prior to that I removed the rubber seal. Then you could remove the bolts that hold in this guy here. That's a cover for the blower motor area right there. And then the drains on each side. You have the battery cover, or the ECU cover. Then here you have your blower motor cover there. Some more 1, 2, 3, 4 Phillips head screws that would hold in the wiper assembly. Would sit like right here, so those will come apart, and I have all that apart. I've got the blower motor here, which is seized and does not spin freely. This should spin freely, but it spins very hard. So that is done, and that should resolve the issue for the blower motor. I'm also going to be, well, I've cleaned out all the debris and vacuumed all that stuff out. I'm going to be replacing the hoses for the radiator, upper, lower. I'm going to be replacing the radiator because now that the car is operable, stuff will probably start coming up like this. This fitting here that connects to the plastic had a crack that wasn't visible, and once the car was running it started leaking. So I'm going to replace the radiator, I'm going to replace the overflow tank, the radiator cap, and this overflow hose, as well as the expansion tank fluid level sensor. And I did just remove the battery tray, and I'm going to clean that area up, and already cleaned up the battery tray. And what happens with mostly every older Mercedes is people that leave them sitting, the batteries leak and the acid will corrode the battery tray. So I'm going to be putting on some rust dissolver onto this for whatever remaining pieces are there. Then I'll do a rust treatment with this Permatex, and then I'll do some primer and a black finish on that, and we'll reinstall the battery for the car. And then I'll also service the differential. I'll do a differential oil change on this thing. If you guys need help sourcing a pre-merger car, or have one on the lookout that you are going to be purchasing and want me to assist you with a few things, whether it be sourcing pre-merger parts, installing certain pre-merger parts, allocating kits, wheels, etc., I can definitely help out with that. So drop me a DM or shoot me an email if you'd like me to curate your pre-merger or Mercedes build, etc. It's people like me and other people that love these old cars, that keep them on the road. So I'm happy to be working on these cars and make sure to smash the like and subscribe to the channel, support it. I really appreciate you guys, and for now, let's get back to work. Grab yourself some disposable brushes from Harbor Freight. Some of this Loctite rust dissolver. I'm not sure if they have it at Harbor Freight, but if they don't, any Advanced Auto Parts or O'Reilly's or similar store will have that. And just apply it. Let it sit for like 10 minutes. Clean it off. And I guess you could use a bigger brush, but I don't have one, so I'm gonna use this one. Get all the areas that are corroded. You don't have to get everything. If you see some minor corrosion, this will get anything off that is on the surface. And then you can clean that off after this sits. We'll flip it onto the other side too, and apply the rust preventative. Alright, this thing is all coated. We'll let that sit and then we'll clean it up. Alright, so now we're going to be just coating this with the Rust Treatment Permatex, and we'll grab some brushes. Same situation, just apply and let dry. And then we could primer. So you could see how the other stuff ate away most of the rust. It's really good. So this will prevent it from spreading again, and then we could primer it. So I'll finish this up and we'll get the primer. Alright, this is all done, and it's going to dry up, and then we'll go ahead and primer. So we have our battery tray all primered, ready to paint, and our battery bracket. I'll go ahead and give it a light coat. And then we'll let it dry, give it another coat, flip it over, and repeat. Let this dry. Alright, everything is painted. We got it all done. Dry already, so go ahead and put this back in. Alright, now we're going to be replacing the shift knob. So we got to pop this carpet out and then unscrew this Phillips screw. Gonna have to pop this trim up. Just comes off. Also need the keys to put it into neutral, but for now we'll just get this up, and that pops out like that, and all the buttons pop up, so we'll just have to vacuum all this up, and we'll take apart this section here. Alright, now if you look back here, there's a tab. You pop it up with your finger, and there's one right there. Now this whole surround should lift up. There we go. So you're going to want to get your 15 in here. I've already loosened it, but this will start to spin out. Let's see. Should be able to just spin this whole thing out. Whole thing. Like that. I'll clean out this rubber. I'll clean out all this stuff. Vacuum in there. And reassemble everything. And then get your shroud. Make sure it slides into those tabs back there. And you're golden. And that's that. Looking good. Put your screw back here. Put your carpet back. And put your wood tray back. And yeah, that's it. Looks really good. What do you guys think? Night and day. All right, we got this area cleaned up. Now we could plop in our battery. All right, we got our area cleaned. We got our tray cleaned. We'll go ahead and drop it in here. And fasten our bolts. 10 millimeters. And the socket fell off. We are good. Let's go ahead and throw the battery in. Throw our battery in. Plus, minus. All right, guys, we are in the car. I've taken out my climate control from my white car, and I'm gonna test it here because I've installed the blower motor, the new one, and it hasn't fixed the problem. I've tested for power. We've got power going to the blower motor, so there's probably an issue here. I've checked the fuse is good, so you have to take out the 2 Phillips screws here, and then this cover pops up like so. Try and do this one-handed without breaking anything. Let me put this down so I don't break anything here. There we go. And now we'll get to these screws here. We got these here. Still got to get these. And we got to not lose these screws. All right, so we're going to take this guy out. We're going to unplug this plug, which I loosened already because they're impossible. And this other one here. We'll pop my climate control in and
Hopefully this will fix the issue. Then we know we need to buy a climate control. Or we got another issue somewhere else. I don't know. Alright, let's go ahead and try this out. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. No. It's not the climate control. What the hell is it? Wherever. Another relay somewhere? Gotta be a relay. It's the power. So, check this out, guys. I figured out why the blower motor's not working. The wire to the resistor has been bitten off. This whole housing was eaten by mice. So, big success. We should have this thing up and running. So, I'm going to go ahead and solder up the connector. I had a new connector, piece of wire. And I'll go ahead and get that soldered up, and then we'll reinstall it and test everything. Hopefully that'll be done. go ahead and remove this solder here. So that's out. We'll get this solder hot enough, and then we'll be able to put that back in, but it's already dried, so. Alright, I think we're done here. Go ahead and get that installed now. Just so we don't get any water or moisture on that. That's done. Put that in here, and we'll run this wire back here how it was. Actually, run it underneath this vacuum line before I break it. Okay. And I'll go ahead and plug it back in. Now, let's go and test our blower motor. Pretty confident that it will work. What about you guys? Back in business, baby. Look at that. Nice. That's awesome. Alright, well, that's one thing done. Let's go ahead and get this section back together. Alright, so we got the new blower motor in. It's on high speed right now, working. It is working. Auto, low speed works. Windows, outside air works. Let's do this. I'll show you the low speeds working. Right there, so that is awesome. That's fixed. Alright, so key things to remember when putting your new blower motor back in or your old one back in. This is grooved down there, so it lines up in a specific manner, which will allow you then to clip in this clip. And when you're plugging in this lower female to male connector, it's very easy to plug it in and it'll appear as if it's plugged in, but the male connector will slide past and it'll be just the rubber sitting on there. So make sure that these are plugged in. That's a very easy mistake to make. And that's that. And then you could reassemble everything. And we are all good to go with that. Now, if you're having issues with your blower motor stuck on high or making lots of noise and intermittently working, most likely it is the blower motor resistor. Now, that's the wire that I soldered. That wire goes to your resistor, which is right underneath the blower motor, which requires more taking apart. In our case, ours is still good. It ended up being the blower motor anyway, even though the old one worked on high speed, the new one works on high and low. So make sure that you check that before you replace your blower motor, because you could have a good blower motor still. Pretty common item to fail as well from what I've read. And yeah, we got that sorted, so this thing's all good to go. Heat works. Might still get the AC recharged, see if that will hold, and we'll continue doing the rest of the repairs. All right, little extra step I'm going to do. I'm going to lubricate this wiper arm for the I'm going to lubricate the wiper arm for the customer. There's the little joints that move. Also, any arm that is going to be moving, spray that. Won't hurt it. So that's that. Now we could go ahead and put this thing back in. Let's go ahead and get this arm back in. Actually, I lied. We got to put the cover on. Let's go ahead and test the blower motor. Don't want any issues. All good. All right. Okay, let's make sure our bolts are lined up, and then we can reinstall. I'm going to put every nut back to where it was seated. There's some marks here. No pun intended. Just torque it with one, and then I'll hand tighten that. Get up there. Get that other bolt. Make sure I can get this in there. I think I was supposed to do this first, guys. Shizen. That's my bad. So we gotta redo that. Great. That's good. That's gone. Love it. All right. Now it's time to put this guy in. A little bit of shimmying around. And that's that right there. we could put our seal back on. And now we could put our gutters in. So the blower motor is up and running. We got it fixed. Awesome. So happy that that is working. There was an issue with the wiring that we found. Looks like some rodents bit through the wiring. I was able to fix that. Turns out we didn't need to buy a resistor. We did, however, need to buy the blower motor because the original blower motor was only working on the high speed and not the low speed. And if you do have a troublesome blower motor that does that, sometimes it is the resistor. But in our case, it was just the blower motor, so that was replaced. The battery tray, I cleaned that out. I painted it and I cleaned out the area and painted it. Also, shift knob was switched, so we got a nice Burlwood shift knob, AMG style in there. And then next up, we're going to be working on the radiator, the cooling system, and the brakes in the rear. So make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I will catch you guys on the next one.